This video will show you how easy it is to sew up your own throw pillows. We're going to use fabric and also decorative piping from Sailrite. Before we get started, to show you how to sew up your very own throw pillow, let's talk a little bit about the fabrics that are available from Sailrite. Sailrite stocks thousands of fabrics in its 71,000 square foot warehouse in Indiana. Popular brands great for upholstery applications like Sunbrella Furniture Fabric, Waverly, Tommy Bahama, PK Lifestyles, Dana Home, Breeza, and much more. Visit the Sailrite website and select from hundreds of fabrics for your favorite brands, colors, patterns, and styles. Then click the Add Sample to Cart button to receive a 4x4-inch sample of the fabric choices you want to compare. Sailrite will quickly send those samples to you so you can pick your favorite ones. Sailrite not only stocks the fabric, but we also carry many of the supplies needed for your next project. So be sure to visit Sailrite.com for our full line of products to make your next DIY project a success. Let's now get started and show you how to make your very own throw pillow. We'll be replacing this old throw pillow cover with a new one. The pillow form inside this cover is a premium pillow form, so we're going to reuse it again. We need to take two measurements, one across the width and one across the height. And as we take these measurements, we are compressing the pillow form slightly and measuring from the edges. This pillow form measures 25 inches by 18 inches, so we're going to cut our two plates 25 inches by 18 inches. And when we're done sewing around the perimeter, this will make the cover fit fairly tightly, which actually makes a better looking pillow form. We've chosen to use a Waverly fabric from Sailrite, and this fabric has a pattern on the top side and no pattern on the bottom side or inside surface. Since the pillow form inside this old throw pillow is in excellent condition and of superior quality, we're going to create a rip at the end of this old pillow cover and remove the pillow form and reuse it. It is extremely important to use high quality pillow forms. Cheap pillow forms will compress almost instantly and are very uncomfortable. You can order nice pillow forms of superior quality from Sailrite. The sides of this fabric, the selvage edge, has an unprinted part which comes in an inch, so we need to start our measurement at that location. We're marking on the underside of this Waverly fabric, and the measurements we took earlier were 25 by 18, so we'll cut two plates that are equal to 25 inches by 18 inches. Waverly fabrics are made of all kinds of different fibers. This one is mostly cotton, so we cannot use a hot knife to help to seal the edges to cut the fabric out. We can use scissors or pinking shears. Now that the two plates are cut out, we're ready to start putting the piping on top of one of the plates. The bottom side of this pillow, on the 25-inch side, is where the piping will be joined together as the piping goes around the pillow. So we've created a fold here and I'm marking it with a pencil so we know right where the center of that 25-inch side is. We'll start the piping approximately 2 inches past the pencil mark we placed at that center location, and we're going to sew the flange of this piping on. We are not sewing next to the piping yet. Using a high-quality decorative piping like this Sunbrella decorative piping is extremely important. There are less expensive decorative pipings out there on the market, but they don't really hold together well and their feel is not that great. A Sunbrella decorative piping is a superior quality piping and it's available from Sailrite. When we reach each of the corners, we're going to cut a couple notches out that go approximately halfway into the flange, not all the way to the piping. Then, if you like, you can actually roll the balance wheel by hand to make the turn. If you need to make sharp turns, bury your needle, lift your foot, and then make the turn with the needle buried in the fabric, then lower your foot and continue to sew. We've skipped ahead here and went around all the corners. Now we're coming to the junction where the piping will be joined together. Where this end of the piping overlaps where we started, we want to cut it approximately 2 to 3 inches long. Here we're cutting it a little bit on the short side. It really should be a little bit longer. What we're going to do is we're going to actually cross these pipings over each other, and then we're going to sew them together. The decorative piping that we started with was left unsewn approximately 2 inches. We'll fold that down towards the edge of the fabric, then we'll fold the opposite end of the piping over top of it so that it too is folded down towards the edge of the fabric. Then we'll use the sewing machine and sew right over that assembly. Throughout this video, we're using the Sailrite UltraFeed LS-1 sewing machine. This is a straight stitch only sewing machine with the mechanical walking foot. It can sew through just about anything you get under the foot. As I mentioned, had we cut that end a little bit longer, it would have been easier to hold it under the foot as the machine sewed over it. Next, we'll be concentrating on sewing the two plates together.
This is where we're going to leave open so we can stuff the pillow in. We're not putting the zipper in, we're going to sew it shut. So we're going to leave this part open. So from here to here, we're going to sew across right close to the piping to secure the piping in place to start to finish. Notice we're starting a few inches from the end, and we're going to sew right next to the welt, right here.
It is only necessary to sew next to the welting at the area that will be left unsewn. This is the area that will be used to stuff the pillow form into the cover. Notice when we come to the junction where the two pipings overlap, we sew right over the top.
I'm going to do a little bit of reversing there.
The Sailrite UltraFeed machines include the cording tunnel built right into the standard foot. No need to buy a cording foot. We're going to stop a few inches from the corner here. If your sewing machine doesn't have a cording foot built in, you may need to install a cording foot to sew next to the piping.
And here's our junction point, which will look really good. Okay, we're going to put it so the words are reading the same direction. Put them so the outside surfaces are facing each other directly on top. Then we're going to take it to the sewing machine. We're going to start sewing approximately here, go all the way around, and we're going to stop sewing approximately here, leaving this area open to push the pillow in, and then we'll sew this shut. I start right about here. I'm going to match up the edges. I'm going to put it under the cording tunnel. And we'll start right there.
We should have done a little bit of reversing here to lock the stitch in place as we started, but we neglected to do that.
When I get to the corners, I'm going to go slow so I can kind of control how the corners are being formed. And I may even walk the sewing machine around the corner. I'm going to bury the needle, lift the foot, check my piping underneath, make sure it looks good. It does. I'm going to lower the foot. I'm going to walk it by hand, lift my foot to make pivots. And roll the fabric around with my needle buried so that I don't lose my position. Lift my foot, turn all the way to the straightaway. It is that easy. Match up the sides, make sure that the plates are on top of each other and you're not pulling one more than the other. No, we're not.
And here we'll show yet one more corner.
Taking my turn, lower my foot. Do this fairly slow, especially if you haven't done a lot of cushions or throw pillows. Now just sew around to the opposite side. Okay, we've come around all the corners and we're going to come to our stopping point where we're going to be pushing the pillow in, and I just want to show you we're going to stop right there. I didn't reverse the beginning. I should have done that. I reversed right there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our work before we stuff the pillow inside. So let's turn this right side out and take a look at our piping to see if we're happy with it. Because you can always go back and catch a corner. Yeah, that looks pretty good. If you want to get closer, you can always flip the pillow around and sew around the outer perimeter again. See what our corner looks like. Got to push the corner out. Pretty nice. Yeah, that looks really great. Okay, I got our pillow. Gonna have somebody help me kind of open up the pillow. I'm gonna stuff it in.
For this pillow form, we started out with plates that were 25 inches by 18 inches. Now that we've sewn it around the perimeter, it'll be about an inch smaller, which will result in a beautifully plump pillow when the pillow form is inserted.
I'll stuff the corners up inside the pillow. Okay, now the next procedure is to sew this shut. So we're going to push the pillow. See how I didn't reverse here? That's what happens when you don't reverse. Over here I reversed. I told you that in the video. No big deal, because we're still going to sew that shut. But that's what we're going to do next.
The final step is to sew off the area where the pillow form was pushed into the cover.
We're going to create a hem here, sometimes using double-sided tape. This actually is a Waverly fabric that has a cotton, mainly cotton, and some other blended material. And this double-sided tape for canvas sticks really well to a cotton. In fact, it usually sticks pretty well to everything. So this is a little secret that I think is worthy of using. So put this across the back side, create your hem, and then it'll stick in place. And you take it to the sewing machine. Because we have so much pillow in here, it can kind of get bulky, and the bulk can make it more difficult to sew. So sometimes applying this to the edge like this will make your job a little bit easier, because you're going to base the panel in place prior to sewing. This is a non-yellowing double-sided tape, and it sticks really well to well, Sunbrella mainly, which is 100% Susan dyed acrylic. But as you can see, to this 90% cotton application, it also sticks very well to that. So now we're going to peel off the transfer paper, revealing the glue. And you can't use a hot knife with a cotton, mostly cotton blend, because a hot knife will actually catch the material on fire. That's why it's unraveling. I could have used pinking shears, but it's not a big deal, because most of that's going to be inside. But see how that creates that beautiful 1/2 inch hem? The double-sided tape holds it in place, and then we can simply take it to the sewing machine, line up that hem with the edge of our piping, and sew it. So now I don't have to worry about creating the hem as I feed it into the sewing machine. Now all I'll do is I'll take that and we'll come down to here, and you can see how it comes right up against the piping. So come on, great. I'm going to take the standard foot off, and we're going to put it on roping zipper foot left, which will get the stitch closer to the hard object. So there's the standard foot, and here's the roping zipper foot left. Now, since we have that roping zipper foot left on, we can get very close to the piping, and we can sew this pillow shut. I'm going to do some reversing here to lock our stitch in place. I'm going to stuff the pillow in, and since we already sewed close to the piping, I don't have to worry about getting right on top of the piping. All I have to do is just close the pillow up, making sure that I'm not stretching one fabric more than the other, because if I do that, then at the end I'll have a bubble. And if it's not going to come out, even if you feel like there's going to be more of a bubble here, you can kind of push the excess fabric in. I think I'm going to be pretty much fine. I'm going to push a little bit more of the fabric, because I do see a little bit of a bubble here. I don't think it'll be noticeable, but notice how I'm pushing the bubble towards the foot of the sewing machine to kind of balance that out. Yeah, it's going to be about perfect. Yep. Now we're going to just do some reversing here. And we are done.
We want to show a close-up of the area we just sewed shut. Looks great, and here it is at that junction where the piping intersects each other. And the corners also look great. Let's now go over the materials that were used to build this throw pillow and also the tools that were used. There are many fabric selections that can be found at Sailrite.com that will work great for decorative throw pillows. Also, we used a nylon V69 thread for this indoor throw pillow. If you were making an outdoor throw pillow, you would use V69 polyester thread. To calculate how much fabric is required for your throw pillow, go to the fabric calculator at the Sailrite website. If you already have the fabric in mind, just type in the fabric in the Sailrite search and pull that fabric up to the landing page. There's also a button here where you can use the fabric calculator. Clicking that button will pull up the fabric calculator. You'll see there are multiple choices from cushions, throw pillows, rectangular tarps, sail shades, and more coming in the future. Because we're working on throw pillows, we're going to click that button. Now all you need to do is enter the width of the throw pillow, the length of the throw pillow, and the fullness, usually 0. And the quantity, here we're going to put 5, and the fabric width. Our fabric is 54 inches. Then we're going to hit the calculate button. And now we have the total yardage that is required for these 5 throw pillows. If you've chosen to use a piping or a decorative fringe, here's the amount of piping or fringe that will be required for these 5 throw pillows. Scroll down a little further and you'll see the cut panel rendering. These are the sizes of the plates that'll need to be cut out for the 5 throw pillows. Yeah, it's that easy. Order your supplies from Sailrite today after using the Sailrite Fabric Calculator. For more free videos like this, be sure to check out the Sailrite website or subscribe to the Sailrite YouTube channel today. It's your loyal patronage to Sailrite that makes these free videos possible. Thanks for your support. Bye-bye.